And welcome everyone to this special episode at a special time on this wonderful Tuesday afternoon. I know you guys are used to our shows being at night, and so this is a little different. And I have a couple announcements to make before we get started. And one of the announcements is there has been some technical issues, and Vera, who I was able to get on, was having technical issues where the link wasn't working through certain platforms, and so we found that it was also not working for our other guest, Jack, who, being from the UK, will hopefully find a way in and we'll get the link to work and bring him on. If not, then we will bring him on for another episode. But I am so grateful and appreciative for all of you tuning in at this special time. And with that being said, we are going to go ahead and get started, and hopefully, our other guest will be able to join us shortly. And I am going to introduce you all to a guest who's been on the show before. She's the co-founder of the Central Texas Paranormal Ghostbusters and is out of Texas, so go Texas. I am going to hand it over and let her talk a little bit about what she's been up to. So I give you the one, the only Vera Lopez Rincon.
Hi guys. Well, we've been doing a few um, investigations. We've been going to a lot of cemeteries, mausoleums, and stuff, and we have been getting quite a bit of sightings of women sitting on the headstones, and just all different kind of pictures of different faces and stuff.
So when you say
But
women sitting on the tombstones, you're talking spirits, not teammates sitting on
yes,
the
spirit.
tombstones. Okay.
Yes, spirits, not regular people, but we take the pictures and you can see them clear as day.
Very cool.
But
And
we are trying to get Jack here to the USA so he can do some um, shows and stuff. And hopefully, I think he's going to get here in a few months.
well, that would be very cool. And I know you've been wanting to investigate with me as well and trying to get me down
Hmm.
there. So when Jack comes, definitely let me know and I'll see about making a little trek down there and hopefully be down there before that too. Just got to see how my
Cool.
schedule flows.
Yeah, we're just excited that he's coming down, and I don't have the dates with me when he's coming, but it should be on one of his pages that he has on one of the platforms.
So how did you and Jack meet?
I met Jack, I want to say, on Facebook. He was doing a free reading, and I had just popped in and he gave me a reading, and everything uh he was talking about was just on point. And he was talking to my loved ones that had crossed over. It was pretty amazing the way it went, because I had just popped in and he picked my name, and I was like, what? I didn't know what was going on until he told me. But
What a
he is a
gift.
really sweet guy. And yeah, he does a lot of free readings. where he speaks to people from the other side.
That's amazing. And it's kind of interesting how the universe put it into where you saw it, popped in, and he saw
Hmm.
your name and picked your name out of the chat
I
room.
don't know how many were there that day, but there was a bunch of people in there on that page that we were in. And, it was just crazy because I just had popped in and a lot of people were saying, me, me, me. And he just picked my name and it was wild. And everything else from there has been on point. Anything he tells me, it's happened or it's going to happen.
Well, that's cool. Has he been able to, when you're on locations investigating, have you tried reaching out to him and get any insights, or haven't tried that yet?
No, we haven't tried that yet. I'm hoping when he does come to the US, we can do some uh, investigation together.
So, where are your favorite places to investigate down there? And when I say down there, I mean in your area in Texas.
Uh, we like going to the museums. There's a lot of old what is it jails that they turned into museum. Lockhart, San Antonio, Gonzales, Luling. They all had the jails that they turned into museums, so you're able to go and investigate that. You get a lot of spirits that come through.
I gotta ask, being this is, both of us from Texas, how is the activity in Gonzales?
Well, I haven't really done the jail in Gonzales yet, but we had that on the next couple of places that we go to. Gonzales is going to be one of the towns that we do the jail investigation. But I've heard that there's a lot of spirit sightings there, and I haven't gone, so I can't say yes or no on it.
Okay, and the reason I was asking is because I found out doing my own scouting. We're told in
Hmm.
history that Gonzales was the start of the Texas Revolution, but then I found
Yes.
out the shots were actually fired in a different city, and so I don't know if Gonzales moved, and that's why history records it as Gonzales, or if it was the biggest town nearby, so they just used the name.
Well, I know that the come and take it thing that they use every year for their party. I mean, I guess what is it? The
The
city's
celebration.
celebration, the come and take it. That has a lot of stuff to do with the war where they came and tried taking the, I guess that little, can't remember the name,
The
that
cannon.
machine gun that's on the cannon. I'm sorry. But yeah, they came to try to take the cannon, and that's when they started getting together and start firing at the other people, and they couldn't take it. So they supposedly named it "Come and Take It" for their celebration that they do.
Right. And it's interesting because when I was driving through Yorktown, I was
Mm-hmm.
reading about this monument in Cost.
Mm-hmm.
And Cost is the monument to where the shots were first fired. And it's like I think it's like a few, maybe 10 miles from Gonzales. It's really close. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's why I was wondering if history just was like, no one's going to remember the name Cost. Let's use Gonzales. Everybody will remember that name. But I'm curious with the investigation work that you guys do in your area, being in the San Antonio Lockhart area. Do you find that more people focus on the history and the war there and don't give any credence or any acknowledgement to the other sites?
Mm, I don't think so because when we go to an investigation um, in San Antonio or here in Lockhart, San Antonio is a whole lot bigger than Lockhart, but um, there's things happening everywhere. It's just a matter of um, opening up that third eye and seeing and speaking to spirits.
Right. Well, what
But
I'm
no.
speaking to is when we were in San Antonio and visiting the Alamo
Mm-hmm.
last month, everybody was there, was all the workers were like, yeah, the battle cry of Texas, remember the Alamo. And then they won
Mm-hmm.
in San Jacinto, and I was like, and I looked at him and I said, whoa, 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 that's only half the battle cry. What about the other half? And they're like, no, this is a battle cry we focus on. Their movies all have it as that's the battle cry. And it's like
Mm-hmm.
the Alamo staff and researchers are forgetting about Goliad and are
Right.
like, Goliad didn't happen to them. And it's like, whoa, that's the other half of the battle cry. You can't erase that from history. And when we were in Goliad and went to La Bahia, the Presidio, they were
Mm-hmm.
like giving us the history of, yeah, they went to go try to get to San Antonio and they to help the Alamo defenders and couldn't cross the rivers because the waters were too high and they had all these issues and it led to this massacre happening here. And I was like, I like how you guys are including the Alamo because the Alamo doesn't include you. And they said, what? They were not happy to hear that. And I was like, yeah, and they have markers that talks about Gonzalez sending 13 men, I think it was, to help. And
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's funny how in history people focus on, I guess, landmarks that people can recognize. And I guess because Goliad, the Presidio, I guess they don't see that as a huge landmark draw, even though it is worth mentioning. But you mentioned Lockhart as being having spirits around. I will be
Mm-hmm.
honest. I only know Lockhart as the barbecue capital of Texas. So, what kind of spirits are you finding in Lockhart?
We went to the Lockhart Jail Museum. You can go over there. Oh, and it never fails. It always shows up different people or different spirits. And we've taken pictures and you just get some wild pictures there. I'll have to forward some to you.
Yeah, because that's
But
interesting. Because I, in all my research of like paranormal hotspots and everything, La Bahia is on the list, the Alamo's on the list, different like Black Swan Inn is on the list, but I've never
mhm.
seen Lockhart. I've seen Lavaca.
Lockhart, when we went, we have done the Lockhart Jail Museum like 4 times. We take different groups out there with us. The last time we went, I got scratched on the back, 3 scratches on my back, and Lisa's grandson got bit, and the bite marks were on his hands. So it got really crazy that night.
So, do you feel like Lockhart kind of keeps it to the locals and doesn't want a lot of attention with the paranormal? Or
I don't think they want to use the paranormal here as much as other places because they don't really announce uh, for you to come and look at the jail. And it got a lot of great history in there that you can see. Once you go in there, they have a room where they have the bed, the cribs, and dolls, and handcuffs, and all different kinds of stuff. And that's what they used to use back then. And when you go up the stairs, and some of those cells that are there, they have a bunch of stuff in there that the inmates would use. They have a ball with the chain where they would put the people to clean up the city, and they put that ball and chain on their legs so they couldn't escape. And they have that on display as well.
that's incredible. And with how you guys do you guys find your investigations mainly on your own, just talking to people, or do you team up with like the Wraith Hunters? I think that's what they're currently called. Anthony keeps changing the name on me, I think, and the Curious Twins. If you team up, if you follow them and
Hmm.
go to spots they
Now
recommend.
we go to we go visit sites.
Your volume cut out.
No,
There we go.
all right. And so anyway, no, we turn around and just go wherever we can. We don't follow anybody. We team up with other people that we're in contact with and see if they want to go with us, or they'll call us and see if we want to go with them. And we just hang out that way. There's times that we go by ourselves.
No, that's cool because collaborations are fun, but it's also cool to stumble on your own stuff and kind of, builds up your skills, so to speak, and practice with it
Hmm.
there.
Yes, that's true. We and then we got kids that go with us, like Lisa's grandkids and my grandkids. They go out there and they're taking pictures. They capture spirits uh, out there and stuff, and they love it. So they'll be the next generation coming up after we're gone.
That's cool that you guys help them and don't like try to talk them out of it, and just let them do what they want to do and join you if they want to. And
Hmm. Yeah, they love going anywhere and everywhere with us. There's some places that we won't take them if it's really, really bad. They say that the spirits bite, hit, and stuff like that. And we won't take them to those, but we anywhere else we'll take them with us.
so I have a curious question because been following you and Lisa for a while, and
Mm-hmm.
I noticed the other day I went to post this in the group chat, the page that you guys had, and I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't find it. And so I was like, huh. I was like, I'd be miffed if I didn't ask, did you guys take the group down or have
No,
a
it's still
issue
there.
with it?
It's still there.
Weird, because I couldn't find it. And so I was like, that's why I wanted to ask because I was like, I didn't want to keep looking. And you're like, oh,
No,
yeah, we had problems, so I had to do this.
well, Facebook seems to take uh I guess they put us in jail or something because people used to post nudity stuff on there and we finally blocked them and uh before you put something up we have to okay it because we were just getting a lot of nasty explicit pictures and stuff and I had to turn around and delete right away and so we figured it out how to block it where the people can't do that anymore. But Facebook would put us in jail as well.
Yeah, Facebook, they have weird rules. Yeah,
Yeah, they
I'm just
do.
going to leave it at that.
Yes.
I don't need any more trouble with Facebook.
Yeah, because they put you on where you can't even post like anything. And it
Yep.
just kind of freezes your page for a little bit where people can't even find you. But
Yeah.
no, we're still
Well,
there.
I wonder, did you set it to private mode?
Um, no, I don't think so. I'll have to check with Lisa. Um, because sometimes when you look for it, you can't find it, and that means we're in jail for something. But most of the time, you can find us. I don't know.
Okay.
I have to look. I know
Well, because I
she.
was thinking if you went to private mode, because this is a new account,
Uh
I
huh.
wouldn't be in it, and so I would have to be invited in because private you cannot search it.
Yeah. Oh. Well, when I get back on that page, I'll send you a request on this page
I
so
appreciate
you can
that.
find us. So we'll do that as soon as our show's up. We can put you on.
There we go. I appreciate that. And
So where did all did you investigate when you went on your little trip?
so I investigated on the trip the haunted forest in San Antonio,
Mm-hmm.
and it's over by the, believe if memory serves right, it's located right by the Donkey Lady
Mm-hmm.
Bridge. And that place, I'm still wrapping my head around what all happened there because it was like a the moon was in the sky, but we
Mm-hmm.
could not see the water when we first arrived under
Right.
the bridge. You couldn't hear the water, you couldn't see the water, it was pitch black. We go through the forest, have all those experiences, and we come out, and all of a sudden you could see and hear the water on one side, and the other side totally crystal clear, still. It's like you feel like you would throw a rock and break the glass. And I'm like, I've never seen where you have a
Wow.
babbling brook, a bridge, perfectly still. It's like water
Mm-hmm.
doesn't just stop moving.
Wow.
So yeah, so that was one of the interesting things we had happen there that we noticed, and that's just something I'm trying to figure out in my head, like, because we were there a few hours and the moon doesn't move that much to affect where the
Mhm.
moon shines its light. So that was an
Right.
unusual experience. And another place that we investigated was a office in Oklahoma that a friend of mine put together with her team very short notice, and so super appreciative to you, Tammy and Brooke and Jill, for putting that together for us and short notice. But what amazed me was we would be sitting in a room, and then two office spaces over, they put a device that was motion activated music box.
Mhm.
And all of a suddenly we would be talking and you would hear this going. And there's no fan going in there. So you couldn't say, oh, paper moved and set it off. It was like literally we were
Yeah.
even having a hard time setting it off. You had to walk in a very specific spot to set it off. And one of the things that got our attention too, Tammy and I were in there, and there was a sofa, and one of the cat balls rolled and nestled itself in between the pillow and the cushion, and the other cat ball was on the outside
Wow.
of the pillow and started to roll and lit up. But before the cat ball hit the other cat ball was lit up as well. So both were lit up before contact, and we were like, okay, we didn't bump the couch, so there's no rhyme or reason why that one went into motion. But how do you make a
Mhm.
ball that's motion activated light up that's nestled in something before something hits it? So that was like an experience there. I'm still like, yeah, so a spirit had to manipulate both of those to have that happen because cat balls just don't go off on their own, especially when they can't move.
Right.
So that was one
That
thing,
is
and
wild.
it was in the motion box. We were able to get the music box to respond. Like we would ask a question, and it would start going off, and then it would be repetitive, and so we'd say, "Please step back from the box so we can ask another question," and then it would play through, stop, and we'd be like, "Okay," and we were finding like we'd be thinking of the question and it would start to respond, and we're like, you got to let us ask the question. You're you're reading our minds, you got to let us get the questions out. And so that was something that was interesting and fun as well. And so that was a fun, interesting night that I was surprised we got any activity because it was so quickly put together that normally I'm like, yeah, those are the kind of nights that you just sit around and talk and get to know everybody. But yeah, and it was Afterlife Paranormal Investigators of Oklahoma. I'm pretty sure I got their name right. And I'm looking forward to going back to Oklahoma and investigating with them again, or if they come down south into Texas, I'll be like, yeah, well, let's team up and let's go find this spot and investigate some. But I met quite a few interesting locations. Tombstone was an interesting city because there's a lot of history there and a lot of buildings original to the time or like 1 year off of a major event. And so there's spirits around. You can feel them, you can sense them. And On apps, a friend of mine up north introduced me to an app that's you get full sentences instead of a word here and a word there. So that was interesting to hear and use there.
Oh
And
wow.
yeah, it's
You need
I think it's
you
on
need to
both.
share that.
Yeah, I think it's on both things. It's an app called Spirit Talker,
Oh
and
yes,
it's
I have that one.
you do have it.
Yes. And we and
Yeah,
um Sunday we went to the mausoleum to investigate, and we invited NSPTV, uh
yeah, Terry Crozier.
Terry Crozier. Yeah, I can't pronounce his last name, but we got a lot of interesting stuff with uh, them lighting up. We tell them to stop, please. They would stop. They would light up the teddy bear. They would light up the bus. They would light up the fire truck. I mean, it was just really wild. And I had forgot my key to get into the mausoleum, and so we investigated outside and around the cemetery on the grounds and got a lot of stuff. Just you would tell them turn the light on, they'd turn it on, turn it off, whatever you would ask, you'd got some kind of response. So it was pretty lit up. We're supposed to be going Friday to the mausoleum again.
Don't forget the key this
So
time.
this time I would, right, I'm taking the key this time.
Although it doesn't seem like you need the key
I
if you're
already,
getting so much activity outside as well.
yeah, I mean, there's just so much. It's just crazy. And you can take
Yeah.
some pictures, pictures where the trees are at. You get all different kind of, you can see faces, you can see uh, animals, and just a lot of stuff. I took a picture. My dog, I had my Chihuahua for 20 years. She passed away. I had her cremated and stuff. And when we
Oh,
were
I'm sorry.
there, I was looking up in the tree. Thank you. And I took a picture, and I got a picture of my little dog up there. I'll have to forward that to you because I was just like, oh my God, that's my dog. What is she doing here? But yeah,
Yeah, that'd be
it was
cool. And
crazy.
I have a question for you
I'll
about cemeteries.
yes.
Yeah, do send that. That would be
Mm-hmm.
cool to see. Um, there's a couple of
Yeah.
famous people buried up near where I live. Bonnie Parker and Clyde Barrow. The Bonnie and
Mm-hmm.
Clyde, and I
Wow.
went with a friend to Bonnie Parker's grave, and
Mm-hmm.
I noticed one corner of her grave, the like the K2 would go to like orange, and I was like, that's kind of interesting. And there was no grass in front of Bonnie Parker's grave. It was all
Oh
dirt.
wow.
And her mother is buried next to her, and she had little to no grass, and a
Mm-hmm.
grave diagonal to them had a little patch of mud, but some grass.
Mm-hmm.
And everywhere else, all the graves had grass. And so my friend goes, oh, that's because everybody's walking here and it's killing the grass. And I was like, I don't think so. I think it's something else. Because if people were walking
Mm-hmm.
all over, there would be a mud
See,
path to the grave, not just in
mm-hmm.
front of the grave. And so I'm wondering if it's the anger between the mother and the daughter that's keeping the grass from growing. And they're talking about possibly
Uh,
in next month moving her over by Clyde and wondering what's going to happen to the grass and everything there. But I'm wondering when you're investigating cemeteries if you ever notice that yourself, where it's a really old grave that has no grass, but
we
everywhere else
have,
does.
there was a place here in Lockhart that me and Lisa went to, and they had, there was it's one, two, three graves. There was concrete around all three graves, kind of circling them off from the others. And just like you said, there was dirt spots, grass, but we were wondering as well why part of this cemetery with three graves has the grass and this side doesn't have any. But yes, I understand what you're talking about.
Well, I'm glad you guys came across it too, because it's one of those things that you go, this sounds good in theory, but when nobody else sees it, theory kind of goes towards, yeah, you're just imagining it, so you let it go and forget about it. But since you're seeing it too, maybe there's some validity to that. And
But the that cemetery, we got a lot of response from. There was a female uh, spirit was talking to us through the spirit talker, uh, and the lights would light up and everything else. We would tell her uh, touch the device. She'd go and touch it, and then she would tell us um, what was going to happen over here, and we'd be looking and looking, and nothing would happen. And when we were taking pictures, we never went back. We got because spirits act.
I think you cut out for a second there.
You hear what I said, or maybe not.
I
I
heard
said
you saying
the
cause, and then after that, there was nothing.
okay. Well, the spirit was would tell us that over here on the left side of us there was going to be some spirits, so we would look and we didn't see anything, but we were taking pictures but never went back and looked at those pictures while we were there. Not until we got home we seen the orbs, the ghost spirit that was lingering on the headstone back there. So me and Lisa said when we came back to this cemetery in a couple of weeks, we would go back where the lady was speaking, the lady spirit was speaking to us. And if she tells us to take pictures again, we're going to look at the pictures right then and there and see what we capture.
I would even venture to say, just for the sake of dealing with the skeptics and everything, I would take pictures of it before, when she says, and maybe a little bit after, and that way you can say, "Look, there's nothing here." She tells us to photograph. There's the orb on the on the grave, the tombstone or graves marker, and then later on, nothing here. So, how do you explain that? And that may be what somebody needs instead of just saying, "Oh, we took this photo when she said to look, and here it is." And somebody
No,
could say, "Well,
we always take before and after. And I normally
okay,
take maybe maybe four pictures before, four pictures in between, and four pictures after the fact. So uh we have all these pictures and we can show before, during, and after. Do you
yeah."
hear
I
me?
always find, yeah, and it's funny because you guys say you take four. I was always told take three, and at the end of the night, you can end up with over 100 photos, and only like probably 20 of them actually are of anything. But because we feel we need to
Hmm.
validate for those who are going to challenge, we have all these extra photos, and it's like, yeah, people don't realize the amount of time that all takes and everything, and how, you could easily sit there
You'd
and
be
say, well, it's not
amazed.
a big deal to take a digital photo and delete it, but that's time you could be devoting to investigating and talking with other people somewhere else.
Mhm.
I just think it's funny how we do things for others while we're trying to do our own research because we're like, oh yeah,
Do you do you know that me and Lisa went Monday night and or Sunday night, I'm sorry. We went to go investigate the cemetery where we always get a lot of stuff happening. And I'm going to send you these pictures once we get done with the podcast. But I took a picture and it's green and everything. Nothing there. Well, I took four and then four and then four. And the picture in the middle, the four in the middle that I took, there's a big orb and it's red. And I don't understand what the heck. I was like, oh my God, what is this red? So we were gonna put it up on our page, and I just said, well, I need to go before, during, and after, so they know it's the same place that I'm standing in where we got those pictures. But the whole picture is almost red, and I don't know what that was about, but it's weird looking. So
yeah,
I'll
that's
have to
interesting.
send it to you once we get off the podcast.
Yeah, it's that is something that and it's one thing that I find kind of interesting that I feel like is something that should be easy but isn't easy is
Mm-hmm.
defining for people what is a paranormal experience, because all the times we'll hear people all the time say I've never had a paranormal experience, and then you'll ask them a question, you're like, well, yeah, I've had that happen, and they're like, you're like, that's a paranormal experience, and they're like, it is. And so how do you go about asking people and getting from them if they've had paranormal experiences and what it mean and how do you explain it?
And just explain it exactly the way it happened, and they can believe me or not. It don't matter. But I know what I seen, know what happened, and you sit there and tell them when they explain to you they had this happen to them. You tell them it's paranormal, experience and they say, "Oh, get out of here, you're crazy." Ain't nothing like that. And you know, there's people that believe, some that don't, and some that are in between. But you can't change anybody's mind until something actually happens to them, and then they believe it once they are explaining it to someone else, and sit there and say, "Well, I can't believe that you did this or that and this," and they're like, "Yeah," and I tell them, "Well, it's the same thing me explaining to you. How can I say, you expect me to believe you, but you don't believe me?"
Right.
I said, "All of it's paranormal." I said, "So therefore, you know, you have to take whatever criticism people give you and stuff and just go with it. If I'd let everybody tell me it's not true, this and that, until I was blue in the face, that's okay. That's their opinion. I know what I seen." So you got all different walks of life that will believe what you've seen, and some that will say no, some that are in between. So I just let it go.
And so, without giving people's names or locations,
Hmm.
because, I'm not about outing anyone or making fun of people, I'm just
Hmm.
curious if you guys have ever taken, say, a skeptic or a, like you were saying, in between, or even a family
Hmm.
member on an investigation for the first time, and they have something happen, and the way
Yes,
they
we have.
react, you guys just bust out laughing, and you're like, that's how you're going to react. And so I'm just curious if you had any of those, and if you could share around it without giving details, so you're not like making fun of someone, or someone won't think you're making fun of
Okay,
them.
won't get on there. We took family members. One was my family member, one was a family member. And they were, "You're crazy. This didn't happen to be true." And all that. And my family member, my family member turned around and became a believer after he seen, witness with his own eyes. There was spirits standing next to him, and when he seen that, he was a believer. He said, "Remember,
Oh, so hopefully we'll get her back, and in the meantime, hopefully we will be able to reschedule Jack and have him back on as well. Unfortunately, it seems like the link didn't work for him, and tried to get it to him various ways. And so, apologies that we could not have Jack on this afternoon, and we will remedy that. And if you get a chance and you want to hear about Jack, you can go and check his channel on Facebook. The link is below. And you can also check the episode we had him on. And let's see, did we get Vera back, or.
oh,
There we go. You're back. And it's not raining this time, so we can't blame the rain. Are you able to hear me? Or. Oop. So, while we try to get this situated with Vera, There we go. Now she's coming in.
I'm back. Disconnected me. I don't know why. But anyway, as I was saying, Lisa's family member went with us as well. He takes off walking around the cemetery and sits there and tells us he heard someone speak and blowing in his ear. And he kind of freaked out and came to where we were at. And he was believing and then not believing. He was saying he was probably going crazy thinking that.
I could see that if it was like a windy day, thinking, maybe it's the
No
wind,
one day, just a calm day, kind of warm and muggy, but yeah, no wind was blowing.
Yeah, that's harder to explain away.
I see you. You're back on. Hello.
Hello. Yeah,
Okay.
we're hearing you. We heard the story. The wind wasn't blowing, and so yeah, I was saying that's harder to explain away when there's no wind,
Hmm.
having air go in
So
your ear.
when he got done with us, he was so eager to go to every next adventure we went to. So he started coming with us every time we went to investigate something. He was there. He was a believer.
That is
So it
cool.
was
That
just crazy.
Yeah, and um, I'm curious to just out of sheer curiosity because I know you and Lisa fairly well from talking with you. I haven't met you in person yet, so I could be off on this, but I'm feeling like I'm not. Have you guys ever been on investigations and you guys do something and you look at each other and go, man, that would be great for the blooper reel? We should start doing blooper reels or blooper moments.
Yes, we did have an adventure like that at the Lockhart Museum gym. We were there trying to get some investigation done, and I was on this side of the jail cell, and Lisa was in the inside of the jail cell, and we were talking, hoping that we could get some uh, spirit communication, anything. So I told her, I said, Lisa, I smell a lot of roses. Do you smell roses? And she said, no. I said, I don't see how you can't smell it. I said, because it is so strong right here. So we got up and switched because she never smelt the roses. And the bar that was in between us, it was like it was standing like a shield where she couldn't smell it until she got on the opposite side. And she started smelling all the roses once she got on the other side and she was asking questions. The ball would light up. And, you know, then she said, man, I wonder why you can't smell the roses inside the cell, but out here on the outside you can. Well, it turned out that the prisoner's wife, every time she came to visit him, um, she had that scent of roses on her. So that's what you were smelling when you were on the other side. And right there
Ah,
in the history books, there, you know, the sheriff and his wife would live there, and the wife would wear that roses scent on her, and she would go deliver the lunch, breakfast, or dinner to the inmates. and they had this. I think it's called dumbbell elevator where they put stuff in it and they lower it down to whatever floor they were gonna be at, and that's how she would go and leave all the meals to the inmates with that um, dumbbell elevator. She put the food in there, go down the steps, go get the food and feed the prisoners, and then do the next floor and the next floor. So it was really wild and crazy. But there's pictures and everything there at the museum. They have like a um, album that they made into a book, and it states all the stuff that has gone on in the jail museum, and it also states that there's paranormal activity. Um, so it just got a lot of different stuff on there that you have to buy the book to actually read everything in there. So the museum there has those books for sale. They have T-shirts for sale, koozies and caps and everything. So, you know, whenever you get down this way, Mike, just let me know. I'll set it up where we can go see the museum.
Count on it. And just a funny thing for reference, it's not a dumbbell, it's a dumb waiter, is what they call it. When you send food through a wall down and open the door, those are called dumb waiters.
You had to
But
hear a word he said.
I was explaining that when you open a door and you put something on like in a box and you send it down, those are called dumb
Mm-hmm.
waiters, not
Oh,
not
dumb waiters.
dumbbell.
Well, I wasn't sure what
But
it's called or what it is, but that's what the lady, the sheriff's wife, would use to lower the food.
yeah. So I have on the screen the name of your guys' group. So hopefully
Yes.
people can find you. What other ways can people
Okay.
get a hold of you if they have questions or want to investigate with you?
All they have to do is go to our personal um, Facebook page and send us a message, or even send us a message on uh, our paranormal page. We'll get it. We check it every day. So if we get any messages, um, we'll answer them right away.
Very cool. And I think your name has the hyphen in it, doesn't it? Or did I add the
Yes.
hyphen in? Okay.
Yes. And
So,
Lisa's is Lisa Herrera.
right. Lisa, Herr.
ERA.
I think I spelled it right. I hope I spelled it right.
Yes.
Lisa H.E. Perfect. I
Yep.
remembered.
You got it.
Well, thank you for your
Yep.
time. And unfortunately, we couldn't get Jack on, but we will try it again and get everyone on. And maybe, hopefully, Lisa can join us that time. And we'll just see if we can't pick a later time in the afternoon to where everyone can be available, or pre-record it maybe on a weekend where everybody's off and air it on a day.
Maybe a
So,
Sunday.
yep, there you go.
Sundays are good.
All right, well, we just got to get
Everybody's
Jack
home.
on board and figure out how to get the links to work. But thank you so
Yes,
much for
sir.
coming on
We can
again.
do that. You're
Yes,
more
and
than welcome. Thank you for having us.
yes, and I look forward to
And we'll
coming
be
down
talking
and
soon.
yes, and I look forward to investigating with you guys. And yes, I will keep in touch with you and Lisa, and we'll make that happen. And thank you to everyone who's watching, and we will see you all on the next episode. We'll see you in June. Wow, it's already June.
Okay,
Good.
bye.
Bye bye, everyone.
All right.